Welcome to The Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurship. This show is going to take you on a journey into the dynamic world of female entrepreneurship. In this show, we're going to celebrate victories, navigate the challenges, and embrace the roller coaster ride of building a business. We're going to dive into the stories of women who have dared to strike out on their own as they share their experiences, insights, and lessons learned. So, whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned business owner, join us as we explore the hustle, the thrills, and yes, the spills of entrepreneurship. Let's get it. What up, y'all? Welcome back to The Woman's Hustle. It's your girl, Coach K, and I appreciate you so much for tuning in. Before I get started, make sure you have subscribed to the Upgraded Mindsets Media channel. Make sure you are following The Woman's Hustle on your favorite podcast streaming platform. We are streaming on Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff. So just make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss a dope episode like we about to get into right here. Because you see, I'm not by myself. So I'm going to let my guest introduce herself. What's good? What's good, baby?
Hey, Keisha, thank you all. Thank you so much for having me. I am Regina Sloan, and I'm excited for this conversation.
Super excited. Regina has done something that I know a lot of us women entrepreneurs or women want to do. And she has shifted from corporate America into entrepreneurship. So I'm super excited to dive into some conversation with her today and let her give you guys her thrills and her spills. Hey, I'm just super excited to get into the conversation. So Regina, please share with us what it is you used to do, what you shifted into. We want to hear all about it, baby.
Yeah, so this year counts because I'm still licensed. I have been a nurse for 11 years. I started right in high school, got my CNA license, left, really didn't think too much about it, went into nursing, and I've been there ever since. Part of that career was kind of managing a floor from staff on up to like charge nurse of a floor where we help people die comfortably. That was the whole point of it. People had terminal illnesses, so I've always been inpatient. So you come to the hospitals, and those of us that work when patients are in the hospital, that's where I've spent most all of my career, really. And the other half has been in ICUs just around my city, different places, which again is still, people's end of life or those traumatic situations. And it's interesting because I always get hung up in this, like, well, when did you transition? Because I really have been in the life coaching space since when I first was introduced to it as a client, like in 2017 or so. Heard a podcast, got into it, had my journey along the way. And so, and then I decided I wanted to be a life coach or a coach of some sort. I started off as a financial coach back in 2019. I got one client, quit. I was scared. I didn't have what it takes. I don't know what I'm doing. And then I never left it, though. I was helping people under the table, whoever would let me, anything but calling myself that. And I officially made it a business in January of 23.
Hey, I love it. And I can relate to that so much. Like being in that life coaching capacity, but unofficially, you know what I'm saying? So like I can totally relate to that so much. So who is it that you serve as a life coach now?
Yeah, so right now I'm a generalist, which means like when you go to the doctor and you go to them for anything, my clients come to me with all different kinds of things. The central basis is they have a goal that they're working on or they have tried to work on it, they failed. And so I help them reach those goals. And it always is around like believing in themselves, feeling better about their day-to-day, learning to enjoy life as it is, and deciding to make transitions like this and any other one.
I absolutely love it. Like, we need that. We need more of you out here. So I'm super glad that you made that transition. With that, I know that there had to have been, maybe some self-doubt, fear, uncertainty. Share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's still happening.
Okay.
100%.
Absolutely.
My mentors are 8-figure earners and they still talk about experiencing it. So I will say what's different for me now than when I was a financial coach was that I didn't have any of the tools. I didn't have the support. I didn't know that what I was experiencing was normal. So the moment I was like, oh, hold up, someone just paid me. Like, this must be wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. She got it wrong. I can't deliver. All the things that happened, that was just a normal process of entrepreneurship and jumping in and calling yourself an expert or, hey, I can help you. my brain went just like everybody else's brain does. And I thought that that was abnormal and that meant I needed to quit. So now the difference is I have that support. I've done, the work for myself. I continue to self coach every day to get myself to show up. Like it's
Come
not
on.
end result, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
Man, listen, I'm so glad that you said that. For one, I'm glad that you told these folks that you have mentors, okay? You have 8-figure mentors that still experience these things because a lot of times I talk to women and they're like, oh, well, I'm worried about this. It's okay.
Mm,
That's totally normal. If you come to me and tell me, hey, I ain't worried about nothing. Yeah, Imma kinda raise that little eyebrow, like, because it's a part of the journey, it's a part of the process. If entrepreneurship was easy, baby, we'd all be doing this, and
yeah.
we'd be flawless in it, you know what I'm saying? So, I love that you touched on that, but I love and I tell people probably at every episode, having a mentor or a coach is so critical. You're
Mhm.
doing something that you have never done before. Even in the standard capacity, when we're talking about, personal side of things, you're still wanting to do something that you've never done before, and that's become a better version of yourself. Sometimes we don't know how to do that. So
Mhm.
don't think for one second that on this entrepreneur journey that you know everything. Because if you did, baby, you'd be already making 10 figures already and you wouldn't have to worry about it. How about that?
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
I love that you touched on that. So how did your family kind of adjust to that? When you told them that you were ready to make the shift? Because you are a family woman. So how did that go?
Yeah, so interesting enough, back when I told my husband about the financial coaching piece and I got my name together and all that, they actually surprised me and went downtown. You know how you go and get the name
Yeah.
solidified? So I think on my birthday of that year, they surprised me with that. So they were very welcoming
Oh.
of it. But my husband is also, he's been an entrepreneur his entire life.
Oh, I
So,
love it.
I was able to kind of feed off him and he was excited. I've never felt discouraged at all, so that's been great. And kids, they just it's a positive and negative to it as a mom, right? Like they're used to me going to work as a nurse. I work my 3 days, typically that's it.
Yeah.
And now it looks a lot different. It looks a lot different where like if I'm not working, I'm not creating anything. And so it looks different than it was. I just go to a 9 to 5, clock in, clock out, where I'm working more. I've been able to be strategic with my time, but for the most part, especially I have 4 kids and 3 of them are girls, like for them to see me doing this kind of thing
Yes.
and coaching other women. And sometimes they talk about the conversations they kind of can hear me saying, like the
Mhm.
things I say to them. It's really, to me, it's beautiful for them to see that.
I love it. I love it. Especially you raise a girl, sis. That's so important. And they see mommy getting it. They seen you grinding, as a nurse, but grinding for your own is different. You know what
It
I'm saying? It's
is.
totally different. And I love that. And I love that you include them in that. And I know that they ask questions. I know they're like, well, what about this, mom? And, how do you do this? And how do you do that? And I love that. I think that that's dope. And the fact that your husband is an entrepreneur, because I have had those conversations with other women where their husbands are not entrepreneurs and their husbands may be given a little flack and a little frustration, you know what I'm saying? Because, hey, you ain't bringing in the money like we need right now. So I think that that's so critical and so important to be understanding. So shout out to your hubby for, already being on that journey because I know that kind of made it a little bit easier for you too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it definitely did. And I also can think like before I was in this entrepreneurial space and I'm still learning, those of us that go to work and we just get paid by the paycheck, there's such a safety, a false safety that we feel from that. And so the transition, like, wait, I don't know what's coming in. Oh, I'm the one
mhm,
that's responsible for this. Or, it's easy to go to work and do what they told you to do. You don't think none of it. But like to
yeah.
decide who you're going to be is definitely been more of a transition for me.
I already know, ooh, child. Man, listen, I be telling people all the time, they like, oh, you seem so confident. Now, don't get it twisted. I definitely have my confidence. However, I'm an entrepreneur. So
Mm,
there's that level of what ifs, the what ifs. But the difference is now having that mindset, I'm still going to work through those what ifs. I'm not going to have the what if and I'm not going to stay there in that what if. I'm going to work through it. And if it works, perfect. If it doesn't, hey, that's a lesson that I learned. On to the
mm,
next. And I think that's important that, us women need to understand. You are going to make some flops, y'all. You are going to have some situations where you might think that you got the best program in the world and it might not go through how you see fit, or you feel like you got the best product in the world and it didn't sell like you wanted it to sell. That's okay. Those are that's a part of the process. So I think that that's super important that we reiterate that and tell, hey, it's okay to have something that didn't work out. That's a lesson. Let's move forward, you know. So balancing that ambition, because me and you have had a few conversations already, and one thing I know is your ambition is top tier, baby. Okay, how do you balance that, like with your well being? Like, how do you foster all of that, and how do you manage it?
Yeah. So I like to say really what you kind of hit on too around like the flops and things not going the way we thought. One thing that entrepreneurship has taught me that working a 9 to 5 or becoming a nurse, working, bringing home that paycheck, having a very prestigious job, what most people think, being a nurse is such a good thing, is that I've had to really disconnect failure from what I made it mean about me. So when I make mistakes, when things don't go, just like you said, I've had all that. Selling things that I was a top notch, nobody bought. Selling free things and nobody bought. Like all kinds of experiences that I've had to experience. And in order to keep going and where my ambition comes from, is just strengthening my belief in like who I am regardless. Like my work, what I put out there has nothing to do with my worth, no matter what. And then really seeing failure in a different light. Like you have to, for me, I've learned to and decided to see it as failure is a way for me to grow and be better. So always looking for ways and getting better at looking for ways to fail, better at looking for ways to try something and not work because I'm helping people grow. And so I have to be that first and foremost person to do that.
Oh, girl, say it one more time.
Yeah.
You
And I
gotta
think
fail.
I don't know if I answered it actually directly because you said, how do you balance that? What came up when you said that really is investing in myself, really. Like I have a personal, coach that I go to, like my personal life,
Yes,
whatever I'm going through, showing up as a mom, my weight loss journey that I'm on, those kinds of things to help me better separate that from business. And then I have the support I need on the business side. And I think that's really important. Had I not had that support, I would be stuck with my own brain that's telling me I'm not good enough. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, that will cause me to quit and go
yes.
back like I did before.
Facts. It is facts. Man, I love that you even said that you have separate coaches, right? Like
Mhm.
separate support systems, because I had to learn that, the hard way. I
Yeah.
started off just wanting to, feel like one person was going to be able to help me with everything. But the most important thing that I want y'all to take away from what she just talked about, y'all, is the fact that she has the personal side and she has the business side.
Mhm.
You have to make sure that both of those are in alignment in order for you to pivot as an entrepreneur. It is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have
Mhm.
to make sure if the personal side is not in alignment, your business is going to suffer. So many times we have people that are wanting to start businesses and they got the personal side of things. They can't even sleep at night. They got so much going on, but yet and still you think you are going to be effective in creating a business, growing a business in any way, shape, or form. It's just not feasible. Yep, you're going to have a short term, you might have a short term success, but are you building a business just for it to be open for 6 months? Or are you trying to create a long term legacy for yourself? So you really
Mhm.
have to be mindful of that and pay attention to that. So I absolutely love it. With regards to your communities, is that something that you kind of had to learn the hard way, like me, or is it something that you just kind of knew out the gate, like, oh, nope, I got to separate these out the gate, right?
Uh, that's an interesting question because I got into coaching by being a client, right? Like I found a podcast and was like, oh, what's this? And started to use that information on my own personal journey. And just so happened that the life coach school, I think what it's called, she does a personal and a business side. So I was able to kind of get both. And so I think it was easier for me because it's just how I was introduced into the business. But back when I was just doing financial coaching, that was a separate, different thing. I had literally, like, I heard financial coach. Okay, I'm gonna just do that because at that time I had like got our finances together. I was doing really good there. It's like, oh, I can help people do this. So at that time, no, I did not know what I know now at all. I literally was just like throwing myself out there, invested in this program. They gave me all the things, and that's what's interesting about it. I think what I learned later of how important the personal mindset is, because this program gave me everything I needed, all the documents, the way to help them. It was like literally in a box, everything I needed to build a successful financial coaching business, and I couldn't. So it really showed me how important it was, like my mindset, what I believe about myself and possibility, and can I make this happen? How important that was.
Say it again. People can give you all the tools in the world, but if you are not equipped to handle that and be able to put things in alignment how they're supposed to go for you to be successful, you just got a bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I love that you touching on that. Hey, you dropping some straight gems to these people. Y'all better listen to this if you are interested in starting a journey of entrepreneurship. If you're on that journey and you are stuck, these are some gems that y'all need to know about, and also understand that you're not alone, because I know a lot of y'all are experiencing these things and you just scared to speak up and say something. So hopefully this episode will be the encouragement that you need to be like, you know what, I need to reach out. Whether you reaching out to Coach K or you reaching out to Coach Regina, whoever it is, you need to reach out and have the conversation on making sure that you are in alignment to elevate as an entrepreneur. Okay. So you have had, some great successes, and I just see, like I told you before, your confidence is so amazing. I would love for you to share a thrill with the audience, something that a joyous occasion, a monumental moment or something like that, just something to share with the audience.
Yeah. So many, but what's so recent for me is that I love, like I was just actually thinking about this before, because when you are a coach and you offer so much, it's hard for your brain to really get on board with how important your work is, because it can just seem so simple. I help people with confidence, or I help them
Right.
believe in themselves. Like, okay, well, how important that is. But I was just reflecting on that. So this is why this is top of mind. I had a client who was actually a grief coach, and we had met up, got to know each other, and she decided to hire me. And so it was so organic how it happened. But at the end of our package, it was so beautiful for just to hear the thrill of hearing her talk about her experience, and who's not necessarily about me, but how she's able to see herself differently. Like, the work she was doing and continues to do is so beautiful, but doing that in a space where she didn't feel worthy, or she didn't feel that what she was doing was important, and for me to have a part of that was so encouraging for me to keep going. And the second thing that comes to mind, I had a client that a current client, she still continues to talk about this, like that moment that she realized that there were no universal truths, like just in the coaching
Mm.
session and us talking. And we were about 3 or 4 sessions in, and it's just always magnificent to see this with my clients. It always happens at different times of the coaching package of like, wait, what? And their brain just like clicks on like the
That
truth.
aha.
Yes. That is just so fun. It's so fun to see it, to witness it in real time. And it's like
Yeah.
they're literally a different person. They were before that moment and then after that, which is like 2 different people. So that's
Yeah.
always fun.
I love it. I love it. And it is like so much fun to be able to just hear, your client come, or sometimes even just to get a simple text message, right? From them,
Mhm.
like, hey, this, you gave me this and it helped out today. Like, I appreciate you. Man, that things matter to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might break down in a tear, like, oh, and I used to be an unemotional person. Okay. So like those things matter,
Yes.
just being able to provide your client, or if you are a product based entrepreneur and you're selling products and you get that review, or something like that, that stuff is so fulfilling, y'all. That is a thrill of all
Mhm.
thrills. Okay,
Yeah.
so I
I
love
actually
it.
keep a
uh,
notes tab of like stuff like that, because when my brain is braining, like, you know what you're doing, you haven't helped nobody, da, 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 I can go back and look at those and read those and just remind myself of what I'm doing in the community.
you so right about that. I love it. I love
Mhm.
it. So with the thrills must come spills, and we all know that. So share with us a spill that kind of had you maybe like, man, let me go ahead and update this resume real quick or something.
Absolutely. I mean, the one I already shared, like I literally got one client, she paid me, and it's funny, she reached out to me. It was just a one session at that time. I was just helping her like with her budgeting, like create a budget.
Yeah.
And she messaged me a few months ago about like, my life has just really changed since that one moment. But it's so funny in that like I just quit. I literally just never I did not post nothing. I went back to nursing. I didn't even talk about that. Just kept it going. But I also want to share, really, coaching, being a coach has really helped in a maybe negative way for me. Um, unveil all of my own personal problems. Like, all of the self doubt that I've had before. And although I've gotten much better, that still comes up. It's like I had to live in the transformation to help my clients do that.
Yes.
And that it's not something I expected. And it's very, very hard to believe in yourself, especially when Maybe you don't have a consult on the books for that month. Maybe your money is not coming in. And so being able to being forced to kind of detach what I think about me to like the income coming in
Yeah.
has been very difficult. And I think this might be helpful for a lot of people since we're talking specifically to those who work a job, who have a career. I had to do a lot of work around leaving nursing because when we talk about spills, some may look at that as a failure. A lot of people don't even know what coaching is.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people see it as kind of like a downgrade, right? And it's definitely a downgrade in income as I
Right.
continue to
Right.
build up, right? Working as a nurse 11 years and like that was straight. So like leaving that all behind and kind of starting over, I had to retrain my mind around that. Like it's okay that I went to college for all these years and decided to have a career to just like leave it on the table and transition. But for a long time, I saw that as like a defeating thing.
Yeah. Ooh, child. The purpose came first, right?
Mhm.
The purpose came first, and the purpose still comes first with you right now. You are so purposeful, sis. Just in your conversation, like how you articulate things, like how you put things together. Hey, this where you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like it is definitely where you're supposed to be. And I love to be able to share space with you because I love being around like minded. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
so
Well,
important for you as an entrepreneur starting off or whatever it is to be around like-minded. You need to have somebody that is going to motivate you. You need to hear their story so it can be some form of encouragement for you not to want to give up. Being
mhm.
around people that are not entrepreneurs, I'm not saying to never be around people like that, but if you are somebody that is wanting to become or elevate as an entrepreneur, you are going to have to get around those. And them ain't going to be the people that you be around every day. It's just that
Mhm.
simple. So I love it. I love it. And I just love your intention. It's just so powerful. So before we close out here, I would love for you to share like a favorite productivity hack that you might give to your clients, a time management tip, anything like that that you would love to share to someone who is either considering entrepreneurship, starting that journey and stuck, or just ready to pivot.
Yeah. So in regards to time management, because especially when you're starting a business, a lot of people have a job that they work. And so the first thing their brain wants to do is, I don't have time. And we have to like begin to see that we have control over all of our time. Everything we do, we choose to do it. Even if it is going to work, you could simply choose not to go. And
Right.
that's a way for people to really take their power back because when you're thinking, oh, I don't have time to do that, you're never going to create the time to do that. And so when I was working both as a nurse and also building my business, I did that for over a year. I what I did was very intentional with the time that I'd had. So beginning up, I would do it on Sunday. Like look at my week. Okay, what days I was working nights? What nights am I working? And so I would have to sleep. What am I doing at work? Because thankfully, the last part of that, I had a night gig, so I would have downtime. So I never went to work not knowing what I was doing for my business during that downtime. I already knew ahead of time what I was going to get done, and so I sheltered things for that. And then my time off, so by Sunday night, I knew exactly what Monday through Saturday was looking like, how much time. So a lot of people will say like, oh, 9 to 5 brings the income in, 5 to 9 builds the business. And the times don't really matter, but it's really just looking at, okay, what are you doing with your time? And sometimes that might be, okay, I'm interested. This has piqued my interest. What should I do? There are podcasts like this. There are so many resources just to get in your ear to even build the possibility that I can make this happen. So an easy way to do that is when you're driving, instead of listening to music or whatever, throw in a podcast, throw in an audiobook, throw in something that's going to help you really change the way that you're thinking, because that's going to balance everything. Like, what do you believe about you? What is it that you want to do? All of these things. And it's free. Like, these things are free to everyone. So I was really intentional about what I put in my ears, what I did with my time. So that meant that maybe I wasn't scrolling, a couple hours a night. Instead of doing that, put my
Right.
babies in the bed. That was my business building time. So just decide ahead of time what you're going to do with your time. And I also share that when I help my clients create that week, create their time management, we always start with self-care, something that you like to do. We want to plug in the fun, right? We have this one life, regardless if you're going to build a business or not, you want to enjoy it. So once a week for myself, for my clients, it's like, what am I doing for me? What sounds good? That's already plugged in before I plug anything else in. And then the last thing is really when it's time to do that thing, when you have on your calendar, okay, it's 8 p.m., get the kids to bed, 9:30. I'm going to outline my business or whatever. In those moments, your brain is going to want to not do that. It's going to find all kinds of reasons, like, oh, we got to do the laundry. I'm tired. I'm this and this. And you have to get really good at feeling those negative emotions and doing it anyway. And that's the difference between people who, say they want to do something and people who actually do it.
Straight like that. Period, y'all. Y'all heard that? Hey, I love it. Separate the women from the winning. Okay, let's talk
I
about
love
it.
that. I'm always offering one-to-one if people are listening and know they are looking for a coach. Simple free consult, and we see, if it's a good fit or not. And I'm Regina Sloan on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm Your Mindset Nurse, and then on LinkedIn.
Hey, period. Because she knew that was the next question I was gonna ask her.
Yeah.
Already know. I love it. I love it. And all of those details will be in the podcast notes, guys. The link to access her social deets will all be on there. Regina, sis, as always, it is a pleasure. I always love vibing with you. Like, you are just, like I said, a pillar. I'm so appreciative to be in the space with you, and just want you to keep doing what you do. Keep being you, keep empowering, inspiring, and keep helping us to become the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah. Thank you so much for creating this space. It really means a lot to me and to everyone listening. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, y'all, we're going to go ahead and wrap up and get out of here. Before I go again, make sure you have subscribed either to Upgraded Mindsets Media, The Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurship on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Follow your girl on socials at Coach K Transforms. And until next time, listen, entrepreneurship is no easy feat, y'all. But I tell you one thing, as long as you let your purpose guide you, you can be the best entrepreneur that you're destined to be. All right. We out of here, baby. Until next time.